Of all the weapons in the vast Roman arsenal, the gladius, the pilum, the siege engine, none was more powerful than a story. It was a myth not carved in stone, but woven into the very soul of the Roman people, a narrative of divine origin and unbreakable destiny that forged an empire from a small city on the Tiber. This was the secret weapon of Rome, the myth of its own foundation and the virtuous ideals it enshrined. More than a story, the legend of Romulus and Remus. Every empire has an origin story, but few are as visceral and compelling as that of Romulus and Remus. The tale is familiar. Twin sons of the war, god Mars, saved from a watery death, suckled by a she-wolf and raised by a shepherd. Their eventual rivalry, ending in Romulus killing Remus and founding Rome on the Palatine Hill, is a foundational drama of blood, conflict, and ultimate purpose. For the Romans, this was not mere folklore, it was their national identity. To be descended from the god of war himself was to have violence and courage in your blood. To be nurtured by the lupa, she-wolf, was a symbol of fierce, untamable strength and a unique connection to the wild Italian landscape. This divine and feral origin set them apart, granting a sense of inherent superiority and a destiny to rule. They were not just another tribe, they were the sons of a god. The myth in action, a blueprint for a nation. The genius of this myth was its practicality. It wasn't just a story to be told, it was a code to be lived. It provided a blueprint for Roman character and values, the mos maiorum, the way of the elders. Virtus, courage. As sons of Mars, courage was their birthright. This translated directly to the battlefield, where Roman legions fought with a discipline and ferocity that often overwhelmed their enemies. They believed they were literally fulfilling their genetic and divine destiny with every conquest. Pietas, duty. This was a profound sense of duty to the gods, to the state, and to one's family. Aeneas, the Trojan hero and mythical ancestor of Romulus, was the ultimate model of Pietas, carrying his father from burning Troy. This value created a society where the collective good of Rome was placed above individual desire, creating unparalleled social cohesion. The Senate and the she-wolf. Even the she-wolf, the lupa, was a powerful symbol. She represented the idea that Rome was a haven, a place that took in the outcast and the desperate and gave them a purpose. This fed directly into Rome's pragmatic policy of integrating conquered peoples, offering them citizenship and a stake in the empire's success. Just as the she-wolf nurtured the founders, Rome would nurture its subjects, absorbing their strength and making it Roman. A propaganda machine for conquest and control. As Rome expanded, the myth evolved into a sophisticated tool of propaganda. Emperors, starting with Augustus, heavily leaned into their connection to Venus through Aeneas, and Mars to legitimize their rule and justify endless expansion. They were not warmongers, they were merely acting out the divine plan set in motion by their ancestor. This narrative was exported to every corner of the empire. Statues of the she-wolf adorned forums from Britannia to Syria. Coins stamped with the image of Romulus and Remus circulated as far as India. Temples to Mars and Venus stood as stone reminders of Rome's divine right to rule. Conquered peoples were not just being subjugated by a foreign power, they were being incorporated into a grand cosmic story. Resistance was not just futile, it was almost blasphemous against the will of the gods. The ultimate secret, a self-fulfilling prophecy. The true power of this myth was that it became a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because the Romans believed they were destined for greatness, they acted as if they were destined for greatness. This belief bred an incredible confidence and resilience. When Hannibal annihilated their legions at Cannae, they did not surrender. Sons of Mars do not yield. When their city was sacked by the Gauls, they rebuilt it. The city founded by Romulus could not be erased. This unshakable belief in their own permanence and purpose allowed them to endure catastrophic losses that would have broken any other civilization and emerge stronger. The myth provided the psychological fortitude to field army after army, build road upon road, and administer a diverse empire for centuries. The legions were the fist of Rome, but the myth was the iron will that drove that fist forward. In the end, the myth that built the empire was more than a story of two boys and a wolf. It was a masterful narrative of divine favor, inherent virtue, and manifest destiny. It provided a moral and psychological framework that turned farmers into legionaries, a city into a capital, and an ambition into an empire that shaped the world. Long after the last emperor fell, the echo of the she-wolf's call remains, a testament to the unparalleled power of a story to change history.